Monotony. It comes in all shapes and sizes. Dull, tedious, just plain boring. But what is this? A contender, perhaps? Something unboring by the looks of it. Jabs right at dull, an uppercut to tedium, something that keeps you on your toes, keeps your head on a swivel. A knockout punch to your old, boring workouts. Welcome to Fight Camp.
Back down. I'm that chick with a clean ass whip. I don't need that shit cause I got my own now. I get hard, I get tired of fussing, fighting, guess I gotta crack down. Don't mess with me, cause on everything I'ma have to bring the whole city out. And I probably end up laughing cause I never back down. I'm that chick with a clean ass whip. I don't need that shit cause I got my own now. I get hard, I get tired of fussing, fighting, guess I gotta crack down. Don't mess with me, cause on everything I'ma have to bring the whole city out.
Hi, my name is Jennifer. I'm your neighbor from just down the street. I also ride a motorcycle, so please check twice. Save a life. Motorcycles are everywhere.
For more information on sharing the road, visit mass.gov/RMV.
I know what you're thinking. Is this the booth, drafting the circuits, three-way theater, or the Kevin Jackson show? Well, to tell you the truth, in all this excitement, I kinda lost track myself here on whobazoo.com. So, do you feel lucky, punk?
The movie, music, news, television promos, trailers and videos used in this production are protected by the Fair Use Act. Section 107 of the Copyright Act. 1. The purpose and character of the use, including whether such use is of commercial nature or is for nonprofit educational purposes. 2. The nature of the copyrighted work. 3. The amount and substantiality of the portion used in relation to the copyrighted work as a whole. 4. The effect of the use upon the potential market for, or value of, the copyrighted work.
So as far as closets go, his is really nice.
Oh.
It is. Condoms. Let's see them.
Excuse me?
Let me see the condom you plan on putting on my quarterback's weenie. Sorry. Oh my God! Yes.
Holy shit! Just put a baby in me, please.
Oh, I don't know
I'm in
about
love with you.
Oh, good.
We could have a really great life together.
Zip it, psycho! Find another famous person's life to ruin. Get out! Get out of my house!
Jesus.
World's a dangerous place, Moran. Yeah, until you learn how to live in it. Fine.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
This is blasphemy! This is madness! This is the booth!
Broadcasting from the City of Champions, Brockton, Massachusetts, with your host, Keith Sinister One Hayes.
Wow, all right, it's your boy Sinister One broadcasting live from the City of Champions. You are listening to The Booth and watching The Booth. I got to thank everybody for tuning into the show, hanging out with me today. It is already April 28th. We are already flying through the year. I can't believe it. It's May already. People already in chat. Clancy Lee, Dowling, how's it going? Thank you for being in the chat, everybody out there watching. Let me get into my supporters and sponsors for the show. Michael Douglas Barreto, MDB Electronics. If you have an Xbox controller and you need it to get fixed, send it out to him. 24, 48 hours, you're back to gaming. MDB Electronics. Also, let's see here. Oh, why did we do that? There we go. We got Vianna Marie's music everywhere out there available. Vianna Marie Music, www.viannamarie.com. You want to make sure to check her out and support her music. Tactical Target Systems. Those are those zombie targets that you see me with at the range. I Love Boston Sports. Those are the t-shirts that you see. You can go down to South Shore Plaza. Check those out. And then, ladies, if you want to take some photos that you never thought you could take, reach out to Kimberly Ann Empowerment Photography. Kimberly Ann is a woman you reach out to. She'll get you feeling in a comfortable place, and you can take some boudoir photos for yourself to boost your self-confidence, or for a special secret someone if you want to send those pictures up. But reach out to Kimberly Ann Empowerment Photography. Also, Underwatch Protective Services. If you need any type of security services, reach out to my man Daryl Smith, and then my buddy Carl Larry, Handyman Services, 774-826-6549. And before we get into the news booth, My first guest is on with me, and I'm going to be covering up some of my face for this interview because I really kind of want people to see this site. So for those who know me, I'm big on stats. I'm big on analytics, and there are some things that I really like is numbers and information and things of that sort. And when I was hit by a car a few years back, I became really obsessed with this crash impact data website, which is a deep dive of information. And then I saw this person on Facebook under the name of Kim Kim. She's out there on Facebook, and she has this website that she has designed and come up with called BrocktonData.org. So I'm gonna put this up on the screen because I want to show people some of the stuff, and I'm gonna let her talk through it. But Kim, introduce yourself and let them know why you started to decide to build a site like this.
Sure. So, hi everyone. My name is Kim. I'm from Brockton. I built BrocktonDataHub.org because several years ago, when we had the whole deficit here in Brockton, and I was trying to find information and going down this rabbit hole of all the multitude of websites that we have here at Brockton, I started to get really annoyed because we had information, but it was all in PDF files, and nothing was really easy for me to find. And then when I tried to get information from the police department to try and find out, well, I want to know what's going on safety wise. Like if I wanted tons of data from the police department, all they were going to do was send me a bunch of police logs, but it wasn't really easy for the average person to figure out what's what. And I did my research, and I was like, well, most cities that are big like Brockton don't have this problem. They have information at your fingertip in layman's terms, in what I like to call pizza bites. So that way the average person can easily digest the information and not have to spend hours upon hours trying to find what they need when they want it, whether it be financial data, zoning laws, or crime statistics. And I started out little by little experimenting with different projects along the way, creating an app for the school department, creating a different type of crime map. And then I realized we needed so much more. We needed to build just an entire database that had all this information. And then from there, separate out all the information. And then based upon the demographic, this is the biggest thing that kind of blew my mind. We didn't have anything that was bilingual. We have a very diverse community, and I'm well aware you can go on Google and select your language translator, but I was like, wouldn't it be cool to just have this really great chatbot where I can select my language and it translates like what the zoning laws are for me. I can ask a quick question and say, like in my own language, my preferred language, who is my ward counselor? What's what's this or what's that? And it's going to tell me everything I need to know. Because I can only imagine coming from a different country, how hard it already is learning everything, but then trying to get the information I need to know. That's very overwhelming. So that was kind of like my vision. So I've slowly but surely been building all of it and trying to perfect it, to make it more user friendly. So when you go on Brockton Data Hub, you'll see things about our financial websites, things about the school, things about the fire department. So like it's very interesting, for example, when you look at the fire department, like what sections of the city get the most calls, and then things regarding high severity incidents here in the city, based upon all of the data that I pulled from the police department. So I pulled everything from 2021 all the way to 2026 for police incident data, and I analyzed that. And this is kind of information residents are entitled to know as public data. It's your right. You have the right to know how many assaults are being reported, how many shootings are being reported, where they're being reported, how many car accidents are being reported, where they're being reported. So you can have the right kind of conversations with your city councilors that you elected that are in office. So, you know, better controls are in place and we can make a safer city and a better city.
So actually, I want to just let people know. So I've disappeared from the screen. I've actually pulled up the site now. So people are seeing you, but they're seeing now the BrocktonDataHub.org site. So as she explained to everybody, if you go to BrocktonDataHub.org, you'll see there's different. So I'm looking at this and I'm coming on here and I see Brockton Civic AI Assistance. So this is to ask your questions, but you also have up at the top, you have Brockton Main Street Revitalization Project, the BPS Transparency Project. You have the Brockton Open Books Project for 2026, Brockton Fire Safety Source, Brockton Safe Project, Brockton Accountability Project, the Bat Writers Complaint Guide, and the Brockton Workforce Retirement Project. So as you guys can see here, I brought this up live on my screen because I want people to be able to kind of see. So I'm here, I come on your site, and I want to see, so I'm going to type a question in here. If you guys are watching this and you guys have a question, then we can ask it. So I can ask dog licenses. Let's just put that in here and see if that information comes up.
Yeah, hopefully it does. I've been trying to train it more and more.
Oh yeah, so this is all at work. This is it at work. Oh, look at this. So it comes up answer, processing. And then you can share your info. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, you can share it via link.
Yep, so here we go. It comes up. Let me scroll up. So it gives an answer. And you do right here, this is what she was talking about, where you can pick your language, English in the drop-down, or whatever English language you speak. Answer, based on the data provided, there is no specific information about dog licenses. Again, if you put that information in, it would update and it would be in there, but it does have where you can reach. It says you can reach Brockton City Clerk at the City Hall. It has the phone number. It has the address for City Hall for more information. So this is, as she said, she's actually building the site. So she gets the info. She's going to put that in. So I got to ask about some of these things at the top. What are these topics and why are they so important that you have at the top?
Sure. So like the Transparency Project and the information about Bat Bus and Fire Department, stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm clicking those right now. These are the actual projects. So let's go into BPS, Brockton Public Schools Transparency Project. We'll click that. And that takes us right to the BPS Transparency Project, to their net site. Your tax dollars, it's up in the upper right-hand corner. It tells us right now, FY23, we had an $18 million deficit. That's right at the top, but there's also a link to read the full OIG report, the big picture of what happened, the spending of what happened. So we have that. That's a good piece of tools because you see a lot of people talking and spreading misinformation about what happened at Brockton. So that's something there. We've got the Bat Writers Complaint Guide, which is something Richard Ripley, who, you know, he means well in his heart. But that's the how to file a complaint with Brockton Area Transit. As you guys see right here, I'm always telling Richard that they do have stuff and options in different languages. As you guys can see here, English, Spanish, Portuguese, Creole, and Creole. And you write down what happened. You choose how to send your report. So how do you decide what type of stuff do you find these sites and you figure, okay, that's a good one to add. I need to add that.
Yeah, sure. So a lot of it is I try to just listen to residents. I mean, it's not just based upon what I care about. I pay attention to what's been going on in the community, and I also have paid attention to what the city hasn't done based upon feedback that people have been giving over a period of several years, right? So if we talk about the school deficit and a variety of, if you go to the school one, right, it's not just about the school deficit. There's a tab all the way over where it talks about, you know, violence or any type of incidents
Crime
that
and
are of
kids.
concern. Yeah,
Yes.
around the school. So like there's certain things that I think really are important that our elected representatives need to listen. So it's one thing to put, again, these PDFs or even a big Excel sheet that is live on these city websites. Most people don't have time to scroll through a bunch of data, and they don't know what net spending is versus non-net spending. They want to know the bottom line. How much of my money is going to South Middle School? My kids go to South Middle School, or how much my money is going to the high school. My kids are going to go to high school. Like, these are the questions that people are asking, and they want to know because they want to make decisions. They want to have better conversations with their elected representatives. And they need to see it in straight to the point dollars. And I understand there's a difference between net spending and non-net spending, but um, you know, it just needs to be made a little more, like I said, in layman's terms. Yeah.
So when I'm on these sites, these ones are also created by you also?
Yeah, I created all of those.
Beautiful sites. People, this is definitely something not to sleep on. Several years ago on this show, when Bill Carpenter was here, rest in peace, Bill Carpenter, I had the gentleman on who came up with the C-Click Fix site when it was first starting out, and he came on, and we had that on the podcast, and then I presented and showed Mr. Carpenter that, and now C-Click Fix is being used by a ton of people. But, okay, so people, look at this right here. I'm going to scroll down. We're in the Brockton Public Schools open books, okay? We're in the crime and kids where you said to go, and here are the incidents for the year to date. So I'm going to assume that's the school year to date, starting in September, correct? 12 schools with high severity proximity incidents, 28% absenteeism rate, 90% minority enrollment. And then you scroll down here, people, and this is a very interesting data scale here. Incident proximity by school. So this score reflects the volume and severity of Brockton police incidents within a quarter of a mile of each school in the past 12 months based on incident log data. So Brockton High is at the top with 8.4 risk score. And then it shows you right here, Main Street, main corridor, 14 shooting calls nearby, 38 drug arrests nearby, CP TED plan proposed. You've got John F. Kennedy School. These are the things that are happening there. As you can see, John F. Kennedy School, lighting improvements needed. I see a lot of complaints about that all over the place. And you just go on. And so how do you plug this information in so it reflects here?
Sure. So essentially, to explain the process, right? It's all like baby steps. So some information comes from the city, some information comes from the state, and so depending upon what I'm pulling, right? If you're talking about and if there are mistakes, first of all, I want to say if you find a mistake on any of this, please let me know because I don't want any inaccurate data out there to misinform anyone, and I'm more than happy to update anything. So with regards to the city's crime data, I created a script that allows me to scrape the data from the police department's website, which I'm not doing anything nefarious with.
Nope. Public info.
It's all public info, and I create an Excel sheet. So first I pull exactly what they report. I don't change what they report. And then I take what they report and I geocode it. So what geocoding means is I go, because their reports don't include what's the coordinates, so the lat and the long of the address. So any incident that has an address, that's included. If it does not have an address, I don't show it or I don't know of it because they're not giving the full information. So I have to exclude it. So first, that's part of the baby step, if you will. Anything that's out there reported to the state, if those are statistics or information that's reported on the city website, such as financial data, again, that can be publicly scraped. If it's a PDF, I pull that PDF and I add that to the database. I just download it, add it to the database. So an ML/AI model is built based upon either like the information that's added to it, from like an Excel file, a PDF file. Once all that information is added to it, essentially an app is created to train the model, because I have a bunch of information. So I'm building like the brain of it all. Yeah. Some stuff can just be pulled, from websites. It just really all depends. Yeah.
So for me, I'm gonna have to send you a link because I feel like there's one that you can add to this that I hear a lot of people talking, but they're unfamiliar and they don't know about it. So I am part of the wildlandstrust.org, which is overseeing the revitalization of D.W. Field Park. There are a ton of projects going on. They have meetings. They have a lot of events and things of that sort coming up. A lot of people, I saw somebody post, Michael Nunez posted about DW, a diamond in the rough, and he was like, all this stuff, he meant well. But I was like, dude, this stuff is already going on. I'm like, have you ever heard of this? And he was like, no. And I'm like, yeah. And I sent them the link, and he was like, whoa. He's like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, this stuff is already going on. They're already started the projects. New bathrooms are going in down towards the entrance. I says, Brockton's doing part, and Avon has their side. I says, there's a lot coming to DW Park. So I
love DW Fields. I went there as a kid. You might
find it interesting. Yeah, so you might find it interesting. Oh, man, I wish I knew. There's so much here that we could show people. I'm going to have you come on. I'd like to make some people come on here and ask their questions, and I'd like to spend a little bit more time if I'd known that this was going to be as deep as I really saw and felt. Because now that I'm here with you, I'm seeing a lot more questions to ask, and I think that people could really see. So holding bat accountability. This is a good one, because you put right in here, you actually mentioned Richard, but not by name. And here's a great example of this, this site and oversight chain and all this stuff. Just last week, we had an incident on a bat bus where a Brockton elderly woman was being videoed by a man, Alexander Hawksley. She was on the ground. Her head was busted open. She was bleeding. And from what we saw, from what the video was that was posted on Facebook, it spurred a lot of conversation. And I remember going out there and I said, hey, it says we don't know all the info, number one. Number two, you're talking apples and grapes and oranges. There's different things when you're talking kneeling and deploying the wheelchair. And I was telling people, hey, ADA, as a driver, you're supposed to. People were saying the driver had refused. And, we listened to all this stuff that everybody was talking about on Facebook. And then just as of Thursday, Michael Lambert, BAT did their investigation, and the granddaughter posted on the actual original post, but the woman actually refused. The driver offered to put down the wheelchair ramp to deploy it, and she refused. He asked her a second time. She refused again. She had a mobility device. She was arguing or fighting with her boyfriend, I guess, and in the haste to get off this bus and being upset, she missed the gap between the floor of the bus and the sidewalk. She fell and she took the header. And we can all debate about the driver's actions afterwards, but it's tough to say because I know in a lot of public transportations, everybody's rules are different. When somebody's down and hurt like that, one of the things a lot of transportation companies tell you is don't touch the person, because if you further injure them, you set the company up for more liability. So even though you think that he looks like he's uncaring or whatever, so it's one of the things that you can debate. But this is the type of stuff that you have in here on this site.
Yeah, so what I tried to do on every one of those links up at the top where I'm giving information, whether it's from the school or the police or the fire department, right? Like guide people through who to contact, whether it be, per the Freedom Information Act, or like, using that as an example. If you do have a concern, right? I understand some people don't know their rights, and I think that's really important, right? We have a lot of people in the community that, whether they're at risk or they just don't know because nobody's ever given them this type of resource, and that's really important. Nobody in the city really genuinely has a one-stop shop for all these resources. If I have
you're
been
building that. You're from what I see here, you're building it, and I'm telling people right now, hey, support this site. This BrocktonDataHub.org, people. Go to it, put it in your favorites if you live in the city of Brockton. I love it. I like I said, it's another rabbit hole for me.
Yeah, I mean, if, like I said, if there's something that isn't working correct, let me know. It's a work in progress. Like, I'm building the chatbot to be smarter and stronger, adding more information to it. I also added some things based on feedback in some other areas. So, it's a resource for the community based upon, things that, everybody is talking about. And I think that's really important,
And I have to applaud you too, because, you go to most websites and people, they don't set up sites with how people like your site visually is pleasant on the eyes when I'm looking at it. You go to some sites and it's all over the place visually, and you just want to get off it. But the color schemes are mesh nice. There's a lot of info here, people. I just gotta say, I'm gonna have to bring you back on, Kim. I gotta bring you back on.
I have to thank community members, because my first couple of iterations, I was concentrating on other things, and some community members have been really proactive from the beginning and really supportive, and gave me feedback about adjusting the color, because I tend to like darker colors for my eyes, and they gave me feedback about changing colors. People have just been supportive right from the get-go, and liking it. So I thank everyone for that.
This is crazy information. So Kim, again, let them know how they can follow you and check this site out, because this is a gem. You
can find it right on Facebook. I created a Facebook page. I don't post a ton of stuff, but when you go on the Facebook page, Brockton Data Hub, it has the link on there too. Anytime I make an update to the website itself, I will post on the Facebook page. So that will be your way of knowing any updates. So if that's, your preferred way of staying in the know is by Facebook, you can follow there, or like Keith said, you can just save the web page.
Yeah. So right now, before we get out of here, I'm in the Brockton Open Book side, the 2026 budget. This is big. This is the FY26 budget. And you've got the big picture broken down for the budget for 2026, total spent per resident, education per resident, police and fire. You've got education is at the top of the Brockton budget at $274 million. Second falls in there is police department. And that's a huge drop. You're seeing this, people. You're seeing where the Brockton budget goes. Fire department, how much of the budget, debt, pension board, because I'm seeing a lot of people out here talking about teachers' pensions and saying the teacher pensions are eating up all the budget. And you go here, you're looking this up, and you're seeing it's not. You're seeing exactly.
I think I added one that's on there also about the pensions. So we have multiple pensions. Yeah.
Yep. You have the debt service pension bond. You have the retirement, but then you have stormwater, highway, refuse, sewer, refuse, water, and then refuse, which I'm going to assume is straight trash, the trash. Human resources, which is HR, your parks and recreations. I got to get you back on. I got my other guests waiting in queue. I apologize, Corey, but Kim,
Yes, sorry.
I gotta get you back on. I need to get a lot of people to come on here. I want people to pick your brain. I want people to give you some ideas.
Oh yeah, that would be great.
1 in 4 property. Look at this. Utilities. I gotta stop. See, this is how I am with these rabbit holes. Oh my god.
I'm glad you like it.
I love it. I love it. I love it. You don't understand. I'm a numbers guy. I love this type of stuff. And this is the type of stuff when I tell people, do your homework, the numbers are there. Do it. A lot of people go on social media and they talk a lot of junk and they don't know what they're talking about. And here you are, you're taking the time and putting that information in there. Wow. I got to get you back on. I've got to get you back on. Corey, hang tight. Got you coming in. So again, everybody, BrocktonDataHub.org is the site. I need a lot of people. If you're watching this now, Clancy, Amber, all you people out there, if you're watching this right now, put that in. Go to the star in your browser, put it in your favorites, and provide her with info, provide her with stuff. I love what she's doing. I'm already going to send her a link to the wildtrust.org, which lists all the projects and all the money that's earmarked to DW that's coming in that they're doing for the park, and maybe we can get that added. You know, there's a lot of stuff that we can put on there. Kim, wow. I got to get you back on. I'm going to get you back on. I think we need a full. I need a full hour with you. I need a full hour. I do. I'm going to really make sure we have people come in and ask the questions that need to be asked. So, I thank you. Thank you for coming on.
Oh, you're welcome. You have a great night now.
All right, hold tight. Let me just get ready to take a quick break, and we're going to be back here with my next guest. You guys, you are watching The Booth. Here we go. Taking a break. I'll be right back. All right, it's your boy This One broadcasting live from the City of Champions. You are watching The Booth, and that was my guest. Kim was on with us. BrocktonDataHub.org. That I apologize to my next guest because I ran over. There was a lot of info that this woman had on that site, and I'm a numbers guy. I'm a nerd. I love it. It's a great site for people in the city of Brockton to go to, support, help her get the info she needs, and keep building this site. This is something that's a one-stop shop for all the info you need. But man, Kim, I got to get her back on. I need her on for a whole hour. I need everybody to talk about it. But I see Amber Smith in the chat, Dave Haggerty in the chat. My next guest is on, and right now the Celtics are in the first quarter and they're down to the 76ers, 21-19. Come on, Celtics, Game 5. Let's put these people to bed. That's all I got to say about that. But my next guest right here, Corey, is on with us. And it's weird how the circle of friendship, the 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon kicks in. Somebody reached out to me about Corey, says, hey, you got to talk to this kid, Corey. He's got this event coming up. And it's a friend of mine, Amber, who I'm involved with for helping her with the IGY6. Then she tells me about this All Hearts United, this kid Corey, who's linked in with Laverne Gordon, who's been on this show for Love Life Now Foundation. It is so weird how this show just continues to become full circle with positivity. Just positivity. He's on this show. He's got this big event coming up. Corey, introduce yourself. Thank you for coming on, man.
Thank you. So my name's Corey, Corey Langley. So I run an organization called All Hearts United. We help with community development, but we specialize in helping the youth during the holiday times and the back to school season. And then for the rest of the year, we help people in early recovery. And we specialize in helping domestic violence survivors and victims, hence the connection with Laverne Gordon with the Love Life Now Foundation. So, for example, back in December, we held an event, and collectively through our efforts, we were able to gather around 32,000 for Globe Santa. So we helped the youth with that. We collected about 700 toys that we brought to shelters all over the state. And then coming up in May, on May 9th, we have a lobster steak dinner that we're hosting alongside Laverne. Yep, lobster and steak. Everyone gave me crap for not serving steak at the first one, all my friends and stuff. They know me better, they said. I actually have chicken parm at the first one, which I thought was still a great dinner. But my boss gave me crap for it, so because I wear many hats. So I run the whole organization for All Hearts United. I'm a realtor on the South Shore as well. And then in addition to that, I work full-time in pest control. So I work for Clancy Brothers Pest Control down in Quincy. So it's a whole nother world. I do the housing projects in the city, and we do residential and commercial buildings all over the South Shore and the city of Boston.
So real quick, it's springtime. What's the busy time? What is it this time of year? Mice and what is it this year?
It's mosquito and ticks this year a lot. Termites, the wildlife. It's the mating season right now for squirrels and raccoons, so they're dropping all their babies in the houses and stuff. So that's a big deal. But the termites, it's a bad termite season due to all the moisture and stuff through the winter. It was a bad snow season.
I was about to ask
bad
that.
Termite season, and it's a bad tick season. Like I told everyone, Pfizer came out with a new tick vaccine. So they don't make vaccines if they're not going to make money. So they knew too it was going to be a bad tick season.
I didn't hear. Hold on. There's a tick vaccine out there now? I didn't know that.
Yeah, Pfizer came out for one for like tick diseases, like Lyme disease and stuff like that. They have a new vaccine they came out with this season.
Oh, wow. And that's a big deal.
They don't make a
here.
vaccine if they're not trying to make money. You know what I mean? They're not making a vaccine.
Right. And the funny thing is, even though we live here in Brockton, which is, we consider it a city area, I know of 3 people who have had Lyme disease in the Brockton area. From ticks. So it's very real, people. It's definitely something to protect yourself. And he answered the question I was going to ask him, because I was going to say, hey, with all this snow and all this moisture, I'm going to assume that there is something definitely out there that's big this year. Because I know right now, for me, I feel like I've got ants. Like I've never had ants before. The carpenter ants.
It's been a big ant season the last month or so. The carpenter ants, the big black ones, they're all coming out to eat everyone's homes lately. So we take care of the ants. Ants are big. So, but I wear a lot of hats. I try to keep myself busy.
Damn, man. There you go. So you got this thing that you're doing, All Hearts United 25, and this event on May 9th, lobster and steak dinner. Where is that taking place, and are there tickets still available?
That's taking place in East Bridgewater at the East Bridgewater Commercial Club from 1 to 5. We're going to have some guest speakers. I've collected around $350,000 in donation and prizes. So I'm going to have raffles and auctions and stuff. We have 50 hotel stays. We got trips to Vegas, trips to F1 races. We got trips to the, the waste management tour for golf. I'm not a big golfer, but I guess that's a big thing. The waste management.
Yes.
So, we got tickets to that. The 50 hotel stays. We got hunting trips to Argentina, to Africa. We got all kinds of things for prizes and stuff. We got grills.
Hunting trip to Africa. Ooh.
Yeah. You can go dove hunting too. You can they have fishing trips too to Patagonia.
Wow.
We got memorabilia from the Bruins, from the Patriots, and I work really closely with Gilly's house down in Rentham. They're an awesome sober house for men, and Barbara and Maureen down and Sandra and Terry all down there. They all help me get baskets, so they make some pretty awesome baskets down there. They're very helpful to the organization.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
I try to always have quite the array of prizes. That's always my goal. My goal was to have around 100 prizes. So I think I got to about 89.
Nice. I mean, that's still, but you know what the thing is though, these days, I've gone to a lot of these things now. I actually went to an event, a game night where they had the raffles, and there's this new strategic thing that really kind of pisses me off where you go, there's a raffle, and it's like there's this one table of people who came, and what they do is they pool all their money together and buy all the tickets, and you're sitting there thinking, this is fixed. It's not fixed. This is a strategy that people, they say, okay, this is a good raffle, let's go. They pool all their money, buy all these tickets, and then they end up, you see it. So it's like, man, you really got to come with a squad now. If the raffle's
so what I do is I sell
squad.
sheets of tickets. I sell sheets of tickets. You pay one price and you get 25 individual tickets to use as you will.
Right. There you go. There you go. That's kind of a way to break that up, because I went to a meat raffle, and it was like, damn, the same table kept winning all the meat, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? And somebody said it's a strategy. They said they come as a group, and then they buy all the tickets as a group and split them up, so they know they. And I said, I didn't even know there was a strategy like that. I'm like, this is like
I didn't either.
I'm like, this is crazy. So
people would come up with a strategy for anything.
This is great stuff. So this event.
So
is this kind of your? Is this like your kind of kickoff event that you do? Is this
no?
The
So that was
in
in December.
Season?
For the season. My kickoff event was really in December. I had that down at Supercharged Entertainment for Globe Santa. So we held that. That's the world's largest indoor go-kart track down there in Rentham.
I've been there. I did Laverne's race there, but I'm I always go and bring my vehicle on display and put my vehicle on display at these events like that, because a lot of the kids like that stuff. But I didn't know you had that. I would have definitely have come through for that.
The sales director from there just went to 11-0 Pickleball. You got to check out that place down at Patriot Place. That is quite the facility.
Oh, really?
Down there. It's right in Patriot Place.
Really?
I'm probably going to host an event there next.
Pickleball, I haven't tried pickleball yet, but it came out of nowhere. It was like cornhole. Pickleball was one of these things you heard a couple of people really mention, and then all of a sudden, it was everywhere. Pickleball was everywhere, and I'm like, whoa, this is like some type of. When you see it on ESPN2, you know it's made it.
They want to make it an Olympic sport now.
Really?
Yep, they were were in the talks about it.
Wow.
Hey, badminton is a sport. I think we can make some room for pickleball.
Hey, like I said, and one of the things I love hearing about pickleball is, it's kind of like an all ages sport. You're hearing people from all different ages are playing the pickleball. So I haven't had a chance to try it out yet. I used to be a shuttlecock badminton guy, fierce back in the day. That was like every cookout I went to, it was badminton, and then it was handball, a couple of things like that. But yeah, I definitely got to check this out. But no, this is a great event. May 9th. Tickets are still available, you said?
Yes, if people reach out, if they want to reach out to me, I still have some tickets available. The online ticket sales have ended, but if anyone wants to reach out to me through Facebook or Instagram, you can reach out to me through Facebook. We have a Facebook page for All Hearts United. You can reach out to my personal page. My name's Corey Langley, or you can go to the Instagram page and message me as well. And
you guys see, Instagram. I've got your Instagram up. All Hearts United 25. Go to him on Instagram if you're seeing him right now. Drop him a message. And, let's talk about the importance of why this event matters and what people's tickets and buying raffle tickets, what that's going to support. I need you to get that out there again because it's very important.
Yeah, so 50% of it will go to Laverne Gordon's organization called the Love Life Now Foundation, which helps survivors and victims of domestic violence. And then the other 50%, so I have 2 scholarships in my organization. One of them is called the Corey Richards Memorial Scholarship. So that scholarship is for anyone under the age of 21 that holds more than 6 months of sobriety. I'll pay for all the businessing fees if they'd like to start a business of their own. So I have 10 years in recovery, just about. I just celebrated 9 years on January 13th. Thank you. And I went through Rockland Recovery, and while I was there, I started my first business that I owned while I was there, which was an antique business with a gentleman named Corey Richards. So I was only 20 years old at the time, so hence the scholarship. So it's a person that's in early recovery at a young age that'd like to start their own business and get their life in order. I'm willing to pay all the licensing fees. And all they got to do is just write a letter, send it in. And I review them all, and I try to award at least 5 to 10 a year for that one. And then I have the Jack McSweeney Scholarship, and Jack's scholarship is for $1,000. It's for an addict of any age at any point in their sobriety. They can write a letter to me, and pretty much I just want to know why they feel they deserve the scholarship. There's no other parameter than that. You write a letter, you send it in to me. There's the address online, which is 20 Nantasket Avenue in Hull. That's where I live. They all get mailed to me. I read them all personally myself, and I decide about every 50 to 70 days I try to pick one. Unless one really comes in that I feel really needs the money, I'll usually expedite that and try to help someone out. So those are the 2 scholarship funds. So that's what the other 50% goes to. So 50% goes to Laverne in the Love Life Now, and the other 50% goes to fund the scholarship funds. We just gave our first scholarship out on March 1st to a gentleman at Rockland Recovery, which is where I got sober all those years ago. Eddie McGrath is a very close friend of mine. I work really closely with Eddie when it comes to all of my events. He's usually one of my top sponsors. But me and Eddie work very well together.
Wow, good stuff. And guys, this is Corey's first time on a podcast, and he's killing it. You're doing good. He was a little nervous. He's like,
has been broken. Pop that cherry. Gotta pop it sometime, right?
Great stuff, man. And you know, podcasting is part of the promotion. Like I said, I've been doing this for close to 20 years. I remember when I was first doing it, people was laughing at me showing up at events with all this Wi-Fi equipment and broadcasting live, and people are like, what the heck is this guy doing? I've never seen, and now everybody's doing it. It's all over the place. But to see you doing this is great stuff. And addiction and the battle to sobriety is hard. I've lost several friends due to their battles with addiction and trying to stay sober with drugs. It's a tough battle. I'm kind of glad that at this point in time, I'm not hearing about, and knocking on wood, I'm not hearing. For a while there was a time before COVID where it was like every week I hated going on Facebook. It was like every week it was somebody, and I was just like, oh man. So it's still out there, people. Don't think it's not out there. It's still out there, but I'm kind of glad we're kind of on that curve. It's on the downswing. And I've had my own conversations as to why it's kind of dropped off, but it's definitely out there, and it's definitely something that people need to support. And guys like you, Corey, are doing it, and you're a true success story. You were there. You were in the trenches. You changed your life, and you're doing things for the better, and you're keeping it going. You're a young kid. And
I'm not even 30 yet, so
wow.
I'm 29. I'll be 30 in July.
Wow. So see, you're still at that age where you usually don't listen to people. You know what I'm saying?
I usually don't still. I just do what I want, but it usually works out for the best, as you can tell.
And I know it must have been a battle. When was it for you that you said, I got to get my shit together? When was that moment for you?
I had a very bad legal case when I was 19 years old. I had a pretty bad legal case, and then it got me into rehab, like a true rehab for the first time, but it really didn't get me like clean and sober because I still continued to get high and stuff. And then the last job for me was while I was fighting a federal legal case, I overdosed for the first time. And I have a bunch of siblings. I have 5 siblings through my mother, 4 through my father that I've never met. So the 5 siblings though that I grew up with, that was a real eye opener. 4 of them are younger than me. One of them's older than me. He was always a role model. So I'd like to see my siblings grow up and potentially have my own kids one day. So that was a big eye opener for me. And my legal case, I was looking at quite a few decades in prison. So,
oh shit.
Yep. So at 20 years old, I had a choice pretty much between the rest of my life in prison or get my shit together. And I had a friend named Corey Finney who used to be the sales director.
I know Corey. Yeah.
Yep. So Corey Finney gave me $1,000 to go to Rockland Recovery, and that's when I first met Eddie McGrath. And Eddie McGrath pretty much changed my life. I wouldn't be here probably if it wasn't for Eddie. I probably would have just violated my probation and went back to jail.
Wow.
Eddie definitely saved my life. And at the time, Eddie just had the one house. It was just the Rockland Recovery House. That was it. And as most people know, Eddie's helped thousands of people, in my opinion, over the years now with the Rockland Recovery Group. He has the Behavioral Health Center, the multiple sober houses. And through him, I've met Matt Gannum, and he owns Aftermath Treatment Center. And Eddie and Matt are now my top 2 sponsors for all of my events every time. They're my biggest benefactors, my biggest sponsors. And every time I have an event, they're the first people to step up. And if it wasn't for Eddie, I wouldn't have even known my first business. I couldn't afford rent at the time for the monthly. Eddie let me pay by the week. He let me miss house meetings. And I owned my own antique business when I was 20 years old. That's how I used to pay my rent when I lived in a sober house. And eventually I sold it. I went on to manage 2 more houses. And when I lived at the second house that I managed in Taunton, I started a small pheasant company. And through that, I used to ship birds all over the world. I had a blast doing it. It was different. I grew up in Holbrook, so it was different to ship birds, live birds all over the world.
I'm gonna have to have you from here on out. Every flyer that you have for your events, send me those flyers, because at the end of my show, I have what I call as the event section, upcoming events. So I try to make sure I want people to know about every upcoming event out there that they need to know. So keep me in rotation. Let me know when you have these big events. We'll get you on here. We'll let you talk about it. One of the things that, before I let you get out of here and I continue on with the show, is one of the things that don't get enough praise are sober houses. And the reason why I say that is because not just sober houses, but the managers who run sober houses. I don't think people really understand how hard it is for managers of sober houses. You've got these people coming in that everybody who comes in, you want the best for them. But guess what? In reality, there are some people who aren't success stories such as you. There are some people who still continue to blame others and continue to do what they do, and they miss curfews. They do all the things that can get you into... And some of these sober houses have tight, strict rules. If you're 5 minutes late, you're not in for the night. But that guy who runs a sober... And I've heard a friend of mine who's not here no more, but I've heard it. Oh, so-and-so didn't let me in. I was only 2 minutes. I'm like, but bro, 2 minutes is two minutes. You were supposed to be in at this time. So just let people know, because I feel like women and guys who run sober houses don't get enough credit as they should.
It's all about communication. That's all they want. Hey, I'm gonna be a couple minutes late.
But it's
sorry, I got from the house too. They're trying to burst into the room. I'm at Amber's.
Oh!
Well, with the kids.
Tell the kids hello. Her daughters. I love her daughters.
That's what I'm going to be hosting my next event with. It's going to be IGY6.
Okay, so yeah, again, like I said, people who run the sober houses, they don't get enough props. It's a tough business. It's like I said, it's one of the things you got to make people stick by the rules, and they've heard it. They've had people, they come in, they try to change it.
If some people leeway too, it can jeopardize somebody else. So that's why you need to stick to a strict rules and stuff, because just if you give Joe leeway, it could jeopardize Jerry's recovery. So you need to keep everybody in mind when you make decisions. You can't just make your decisions based on one, and that's what makes it difficult. Making a decision for 20 people all at once instead of an individual. That can sometimes be difficult, because you develop friendships and bonds with the people in the house too. Some of them are your friend, and you got to kick your friend out.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. And you have to, because you can't look like you're playing favorites in those type of situations. You got to be straight across the board. Corey, I'm glad to have you on. You did great for your first podcast. This kid tells me
I'm a talker.
Great to have you on. Good stuff. Again, it's May 9th. Hey, lobster and steak dinner. Damn.
Yeah, we're gonna make boiled lobster and steak dinner. We're gonna get the lobsters right from the boat, and we're gonna get the steaks from Damon's Wholesale. He's a distributor out of South Boston. They've been there for decades and decades. They're gonna cut them right for me on site the day of the event, and I'll bring them right to the event.
Now, you cooking them? Who's cooking them at the event?
Yep, I have a caterer. Her name's Kristen Precourt. She owns Kate Cooks.
Okay.
And she's gonna she's always my caterer for all my events. If I can have a caterer, she is unbelievable. So she's gonna do boiled lobsters with baked potatoes, broccoli. There's gonna be salads, and then I plan to have clam chowder as well. I'm looking to get it from Jake Seafood down in Hull. So I was a lobsterman my whole childhood, so I'm gonna get the lobsters from a local lobsterman the day of the event. I'll get them off the boat.
All the people in the chat. Dave Haggerty's in the chat. Kerry Ruiz is in the chat. Jackie Spellman is in the chat. Amber's obviously watching in the other room, I'm going to assume.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for all tuning in. But Corey, man, his IG is All Hearts United 25. May 9th. Tickets available. Reach out to this kid. This is good stuff. Both the guests tonight, I'm having them back on. Kim and Corey, they coming back on the show. This was great stuff. I only got 5 minutes left to talk about my topics, and then we're gonna get out of here. The Celtics right now are back up, 45-39. Let's go. They're at home. Let's put these Sixers away. Let's end this farce. We're a much better team.
Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
No problem, man. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna take a quick break. Let Corey go, and we're going to be back here to close out the booth. But hold on here. Let me take a quick break here. Wow, that was Jesus. Wow. I've got 4 minutes left. I got to blow through my topics here. I got to thank Kim for coming on. I got to thank Corey for coming on the show. Corey Langley, again, May 9th. All Hearts United 25 IG. Tickets are still available. May 9th. It's for a great cause. And you're also helping out Laverne Gordon, who's a friend of the show. You're helping out her Love Life Now Foundation. Let's get into the news booth here. In the news booth, Dr. Ellie Parris's reopening was supposed to take place May 1st. It now has been postponed. So you want to keep an eye out and see when that date is going to take place. Also, in the entertainment booth, I'm trying to blow through these topics here. In the entertainment booth, guys, if you didn't know this, Altitude Trampoline Park closed. They sent an email out on Monday, and they are closed. They are no longer in business. If you had booked a birthday party with them or scheduled for this summer, contact them. I'm pretty sure they're giving away refunds, I'm going to assume. I look at it this way. I guess it was Monday, April 27th was when they sent this out. I'm going to assume they had a low census during school vacation week, I'm going to assume. And then sometimes those weeks are make or break for businesses. So, wow. altitude. But we've got our place here in Brockton, so if you want to go down and support those places here, Toy Box and Urban Air. Also in the entertainment booth, Michael. Give you a quick review of Michael. I saw that this weekend. Actually, I saw it last night, to be honest. I saw Michael last night, and my review of the film, I loved it. It was a great film. I saw it at Hanover in the Laser X Dolby Atmos, which made the concert scenes incredible. Like you were at the concert. For me, I gave it a 10 out of 10. You could lean towards a 9, but when you see that there's probably going to be a second movie, because I know a lot of people are like, wow, they didn't touch base on this and they. Michael's life began as a kid, so this movie takes place during pretty much a majority of his time with the Jackson 5. And then the movie ends, and I'm not going to say where it ends, but it ends before the phenomenon of Michael really, really, really kicks in. So, it was a great film. I feel like, in my opinion, there's some Oscar nods coming from this film for the actor who played his dad, Joe Jackson. Remember when we had Lawrence Fishburne play Ike Turner? This actor, Domingo, I forget his last name, who played Joe Jackson, he stole every scene. Every scene that he was in, he stole it. Stole it. Every scene that he was in, he stole it. So shout out to him. I think we might hear his name in the discussion for Best Supporting Actor for this film. Jermaine's son did a great job as Michael. There were at times Jermaine's son actually killed it. Like he really brought it over. And was there things that we didn't know about Michael that was in this film? There were some things in this film that I didn't know about. And people, if you go see this movie, if you go see the Michael movie, you definitely want to make sure you stay and read the credits. Read the credits. There's no after scene of this movie, but in the credits, there's some thanks given to certain people through Michael's career. One of the things that stuck out to me in the credits of this film is when you get to executive producers of this film, 90% of the people who were the executive producers on this film is the Michael Jackson family. The brothers, the kids of the family were executive producers of this film. So everything in this is not lies. There's a lot of stuff in there. I heard Janet was upset about this film. I don't know why she was upset, because when you look at the timeline of this film and where it takes place, Janet doesn't come yet. Janet was still on Good Times as Penny. So we saw a lot of LaToya in this film. So Janet don't really have a right to be upset. But again, go see it, people. Stay for the credits. There is a heartfelt mention about John Landis in the credits. For those who don't know, if it wasn't for John Landis and his direction of the video Thriller, which at that time, Michael didn't have any videos on MTV. He was only on BET. And that Billie Jean Thriller video that was it. That's what really. So there's a little thing in there about John Landis directing the film. So you got to stay for the credits, read through all the credits, and check it out. Corey Finney is in the chat. What's up, Corey? We just had Corey Langley on. He just mentioned you. Chris Mazingas, thank you for tuning in. Also in the entertainment booth, or is that it in the entertainment booth? That's going to be it in the entertainment booth. We're going to get into the sports booth. And in the sports booth right now, it's the 76ers. I got the wrong date there, so I apologize. Right now, it's 50-43 in Game 5 at the Garden. Celtics are up in the series 3-1. Let's go, Celtics. Like I just said before, and I'm going to say it again. Let's put these clowns away. So let's send them back to New York, okay? Also, And that's it in the sports booth tonight. In the legal booth, because I knew I had two good guests, but not like this. I got to play this clip for you guys. Breaking news. Breaking news. In breaking news, this week, the Supreme Court passed a gun ruling 9-0. It was a unanimous vote, and it is huge. If you have your license to carry or if you are a firearms holder, this rule is big. This rule is big. Man, oh man, oh man. I'm just going to let the video talk about this. It's about an 11-minute video, and then we're going to come back and probably close out the show. But this is big. There's a lot of things here in Massachusetts that people are upset about that are now going to go bye-bye, because the Supreme Court just laid down the law, 9-0. This is crazy. Here it is. I'm going to show it to you guys right now. Here we go.
Supreme Court decision came down this morning that fundamentally rewrites gun law in America. And here's what makes this historic. All 9 justices agreed, including the 3 liberal justices who have consistently voted to uphold gun restrictions. When Sonia Sotomayor, Elena Kagan, and Ketanji Brown Jackson joined the conservative majority in striking down gun control laws, you know something massive just happened. This 9-0 ruling just invalidated major gun restrictions in all 50 states and fundamentally changed what governments can do to regulate firearms. Hit that subscribe button right now, because this decision affects every gun owner and every person considering gun ownership in America. The fact that this was unanimous, not 5-4, not 6-3, but 9-0, tells you that state and federal gun control had become so extreme that even the court's most liberal members couldn't defend it anymore. Here's what just happened. On April 24th, 2026, the Supreme Court issued its decision in United States v. Henderson, a consolidated case reviewing federal and state gun regulations under the Second Amendment. The court ruled 9-0 that strict scrutiny, the highest level of constitutional review, applies to all Second Amendment restrictions. More importantly, the court struck down 5 categories of gun regulations that exist in nearly every state: permit to purchase requirements, mandatory waiting periods beyond background check time, training mandates as permit prerequisites, good cause requirements, and discretionary approval systems. Chief Justice Roberts wrote the majority opinion, joined by all 8 other justices. Here's the critical language. The Second Amendment codifies a pre-existing right. Government may not condition the exercise of this right on permission, approval, or delay beyond what is necessary to verify eligibility. The default is liberty. Restrictions require the highest level of justification. Let me break down exactly what this ruling does, how it affects each state differently, what gun owners can now do legally, how states are responding, and the critical next steps to lock in this victory. Number 1, here's what the Supreme Court struck down with this 9-0 decision. The court identified 5 categories of gun regulations that fail constitutional scrutiny and are now unenforceable nationwide. Category 1, permit to purchase systems that require government approval before buying firearms. This includes laws in Illinois, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Maryland, New Jersey, Hawaii, and Rhode Island that make you get a permit card before purchasing a handgun. The court held these are prior restraints on constitutional rights that cannot be justified. Category 2, waiting periods that extend beyond the time needed to complete background checks. Most states have waiting periods. California's 10-day wait, Florida's 3-day wait, Rhode Island's 7-day wait. The court said states can require background checks, but once the check is complete, delay is unconstitutional. Category 3, mandatory training requirements as prerequisites for carrying or owning firearms. States cannot require you to complete government-approved training courses before exercising Second Amendment rights. Training can be offered and encouraged, but not mandated. Category 4, good cause or proper purpose requirements for carry permits. The few remaining may-issue states, California, Hawaii, Maryland, and some counties, can no longer require applicants to prove special need for self-defense. Category 5, discretionary approval systems, where officials have subjective authority to deny permits. All permits must be shall issue based on objective criteria. No more discretion to deny based on nebulous suitability standards. If you're finding this helpful, imagine what you'll learn in my next video where I break down which states lose the most gun control laws and what's happening right now as they scramble to comply. Subscribe so you don't miss it. Number 2, how this affects all 50 states differently. Some states lose dozens of restrictions, others are barely affected. Most affected states, losing 10+ restrictions: California, New York, New Jersey, Maryland, Massachusetts, Hawaii, Illinois. Connecticut, Delaware, Rhode Island. These had permit to purchase, long waiting periods, training mandates, may issue carry, and discretionary denials, all now unconstitutional. Moderately affected, losing 3 out of 5 restrictions, Washington, Oregon, Colorado, Minnesota, Michigan, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Florida. Some waiting periods, training requirements, or local discretionary systems now invalid. Minimally affected, losing 0 to 2 restrictions, the 25 constitutional carry states, plus shall issue states with minimal requirements. Specific state changes. California's 10-day wait, reduced to background check time, 1-2 hours. Firearm safety. Certificate now voluntary. May issue counties become shall issue. New York CCIA training requirements void. Illinois FOID card system struck down, 72-hour wait gone. New Jersey permit to purchase invalidated. Number 3, here's what gun owners can now do legally that was prohibited before. This ruling expands gun rights immediately in restrictive states. You can now purchase firearms without permit cards. In states that required permits to purchase, IL, MA, CT, MD, NJ, HI, RI, you can now buy handguns with just a background check like buying a rifle. Walk into a store, pass the check, walk out with your gun. You can now carry concealed without proving special need. In remaining may-issue jurisdictions, you no longer need to prove you face specific threats. The right to carry is presumed. Apply, pass the background check, get your permit. You can now buy firearms without waiting weeks. No more 7-day, 10-day, or 14-day mandatory holds. States can still run background checks, but once complete, they must release the firearm immediately. You can now carry without completing mandatory training courses. States that required 8-hour, 16-hour, or multi-day training before issuing permits can no longer enforce those requirements. Training is recommended, but not required. You can now apply for permits without discretionary denial risk. Officials cannot deny based on subjective judgment. If you meet objective criteria, age, background check, not prohibited, they must issue. Quick legal note. This is educational information about the Supreme Court decision and its impact on gun laws. This is not legal advice. Gun laws are changing rapidly. Always verify current requirements in your jurisdiction and consult with a firearms attorney before making legal decisions. Hey, 73% of people watching right now aren't subscribed. Don't be part of that group. Join the 50,000 gun owners who get these constitutional victory updates first. Click that subscribe button because next week I'm revealing which states are complying versus which are resisting this ruling. Number 4, how states are responding. Responses fall into 3 categories: immediate compliance, constitutional carry states, and most shall issue states say they're already compliant. Texas, Florida, Georgia, Arizona, Tennessee, unchanged. Delayed compliance, California, Washington, Oregon, Colorado, need 90 days to update systems, train staff, revise forms. Resistance, New York, New Jersey, Illinois, Maryland, Massachusetts, Hawaii exploring workarounds. They'll replace permit to purchase with mandatory free training, waiting periods with cooling off justifications, may issue with shall issue plus 20 difficult objective requirements. Gun rights organizations are preparing to challenge every workaround. Strict scrutiny makes new restrictions very hard to justify. Number 5, why this 9-0 vote is historically significant. Unanimous decisions in major constitutional cases are extremely rare. No previous Second Amendment case was unanimous. All were split. That Justices Sotomayor, Kagan, and Jackson joined signals gun control had become constitutionally indefensible. These justices dissented in every gun rights case. But even they couldn't defend permit to purchase, extended waiting periods, and discretionary denials. Roberts wrote a remarkably strong opinion establishing strict scrutiny, the same standard used for free speech and religious liberty. Government must prove restrictions are narrowly tailored to serve compelling interests, using least restrictive means. This framework dooms most gun control. Assault weapon bans, magazine limits, age restrictions beyond 18, and red flag laws without strong due process will face strict scrutiny challenges. The court also rejected interest balancing. Rights don't depend on judges' policy preferences. The Second Amendment means what it meant at ratification. Number 6, what this means for future gun legislation. This ruling changes gun policy debates fundamentally. For Congress, new federal gun control nearly impossible under strict scrutiny. Universal background checks might pass if narrowly tailored. Assault weapon bans won't. Magazine limits won't. For state legislatures, era of experimental gun control is over. Every law must be historically grounded and narrowly tailored from day one. For courts, every gun case now uses strict scrutiny. No more deferring to legislative judgment. For gun owners, litigation just became much more winnable. Even entrenched restrictions are vulnerable. Number 7, here's your action plan to take advantage of this ruling and protect your expanded rights. Action step 1, know what changed in your state. If you're in CA, NY, NJ, IL, MA, MD, HI, CT, DE, or RI, major restrictions just fell. Research exactly what's now unenforceable and what's still required. Action step 2. Exercise your newly recognized rights. If you've been waiting to buy a gun because of permit requirements or waiting periods, now is the time. Don't let temporary workarounds re-restrict what the court just protected. Action step 3. Get carry permits under the new shall issue standard. If you're in a former may issue jurisdiction, apply now before states try to create new objective barriers. Action step 4. Document state resistance. If officials try to enforce invalidated laws, document everything. File complaints. Contact gun rights organizations. State violations of Supreme Court rulings are grounds for federal civil rights lawsuits. Action step 5. Support litigation groups. SAF, FPC, and others will challenge state workarounds. They need funding and members to fight the next wave of restrictions. Action step 6. Stay informed about new legislation. States will pass compliance bills that really just shift burdens. Track what's proposed and oppose unconstitutional replacements. Action step 7. Vote for gun rights. This ruling only happened because presidents appointed justices who respect the Constitution. Elections determine whether these victories are protected or reversed. Here's the bottom line. The Supreme Court just issued a unanimous 9-0 decision striking down major gun restrictions in all 50 states and establishing strict scrutiny for all Second Amendment cases. Permit to purchase, extended waiting periods, training mandates, good cause requirements, and discretionary approval are unconstitutional. The most restrictive states just lost 10+ major restrictions. Gun owners can now buy firearms without permits, carry without proving special need, and exercise rights without government approval. The 9-0 vote tells you even liberal justices recognize gun control had gone too far. The constitutional question is settled, but states will resist with workarounds designed to comply technically while burdening rights. Stay vigilant, support litigation, and exercise rights before new restrictions take effect. This is the most important gun rights victory in American history. More significant than Heller, McDonald, or Bruin. Strict scrutiny changes everything. Subscribe right now because next week I reveal which states are complying and which are resisting. Plus, how to challenge state officials who ignore this ruling. Share this with every gun owner. Most have no idea this decision just came down. Remember, this is educational information about Supreme Court decisions. Always consult with an attorney for specific legal situations. All 50 states are on notice. Gun rights just won at the highest level. Use them. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one where we break down the first challenges to state workaround legislation.
All right, I got to thank Legal Firepower for that piece there. Very informational piece. I wanted to get that out to people because as of this month, Massachusetts' new law for gun ownership went into effect. And because of this Supreme Court ruling, a lot of this stuff is now going to have to come off the books. There are some things that can stay, but it's going to have to come off the books. So make sure you find out exactly what you want to do when you're applying for your license, because a lot of this is going to change. USCCA is something that I have on my phone, and everyone should have on their phone if you plan on, going to the range or whatever, so you know you're in compliance. Before we get out of here and start closing down the show, let me get into, that was the topic that we just did. In Trump troubles.
A unanimous Supreme Court decision came down this morning that fundamentally rewrites gun law in America.
In Trump troubles, the White House Correspondents' Dinner shooting suspect allegedly sent a manifesto to the family and shared anti-Trump, anti-Christian views on social media. And one of the things that I see people saying, oh, he was a Democrat, and he wasn't a Democrat, people. He made one $25 donation on ActBlue to Harris. It doesn't make him a donor, this expensive donor. It was a one-time. And again, a lot of people were fed up with this Trump administration. So, that could be that. There's a lot of people out there right now. Nick Fuentes is telling Republicans to support and back Democrats. If some of these people that Nick Fuentes tells to support the Democrats, does that make them does it make them Democrats if they're Republicans? No, they're still Republicans. What your paperwork goes by that you register under is what makes your political affiliation. This gentleman didn't even have a political affiliation named. So he was an independent, or he just voted for the best person for the job. the problem here is that the charges that this man has are very lax for what he did. And I've got the guys on next week. There's a lot of stuff we're going to talk about next week. But, yeah, I see a lot of people putting out the false flag things and all this stuff. And part of the reason why we have these false flag conversations is because the weak charges and some of the things we just see from the videos we see ourselves, just the way how people carried themselves and things like that. So there's a lot of stuff out there. We're going to bring this up next week so you can get your information. I got to mention, this wasn't a story, but I just got word that Western Massachusetts, and I'm mentioning this because when you watch the show, one of the things I have before the show is look twice, save a life, because Western Mass out near Southwick, Mass, is reported that last week we had our first motorcycle fatality of the season. First fatality for motorcycles of the season. So everybody, be careful out there, please. Be careful, be careful, be careful. Look twice, save a life. I can't say it enough. I can't say it enough. Can't say it enough. But that's it. I think we're out of here. I want to thank everybody for helping us out with the show. And I thank my guest, Kim Kim, for coming on. She's going to be coming back on for an hour. Corey Langley, I got to get him on and start promoting his events. But let me just get over here, and those are the beanies and the hats that we had for the show. I want to thank everybody for supporting the show, hanging out with me. Those are the shows I produce. Oscar Mike Radio is on Thursdays. Fantasy Sports is on Sundays. Got a special episode on Thursday. Turnbuckles and Spilt Liquor is tomorrow night, and we're going to be live down in Seekonk for the wrestling event. I'll be at the Inns next Monday night. I will be at the Inns for May 4th. May the 4th be with you. Community Resource Day takes place East Middle School May 6th. And then Corey Langley's event would fall in right here for May 9th. So you want to make sure to go to All Hearts United 25 on Instagram and check that out and get involved with that event. Memorial Ride for Ethan Barnes takes place on May 24th at the New Bedford High School. May 30th at the Agganis Arena, Method Man, Red Man, The Locks, and State Property. That's going to be a hell of a show. Tickets are still available. Ride the Bat Bus free until June 2026, and I think that's probably going to be extended again. Family Fun with Music, Thursdays, 3:30 to 4:30 until June 25th at the Brockton Public Library every Thursday. Families with a child, 0 to 6. Boston Brothers' 3rd annual motorcycle car ride. That takes place July 25th on 2026. And then my ride, the Slingshots for Shriners, takes place Boston 2026 on August 1st with a rain date of August 8th. You can go and check out the Slingshots that are going to be there. Broken Chains Biker Church, their car and bike show takes place August 22nd with a rain date of August 23rd. Brockton Arts Paint Night, that's every last Saturday of the month, 7 to 9 p.m. at the Enzo Flats Gallery, $20 per person. And then the Brockton Magic Moment Trip, trying to send the family to Disney. And as you guys heard, Travis Partington, who was on the show last week, free Chromebooks for veterans in Abington. First come, first serve. When they're gone, they're gone. And that's going to be it, ladies and gentlemen. Let me get back here to the show. And great stuff. Thank you for everybody for tuning in. Thank you to my guests, Kim Kim and Corey Langley. And let me see. I'm trying to get the score of the game here as we get out of here. 57-50. Celtics are still winning the game. Let me go on to ESPN and see what quarter they're in. They're in halftime. So they're in halftime right now. Celtics are up 57-50. So your boy Sinister One, I'm about to jump off here, and I'm about to go watch the rest of these Celtics. So SpongeBob, do me a favor, SpongeBob. Celtics are on. Take me home.
Well, see you next Tuesday.
Thank you for listening to The Booth on Hoobazoo and HatcherRadio.com. Please follow the Facebook page and subscribe to the podcast at Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. The Booth is a Sinister One production hosted by Sinister One.
I've got to start hanging out with friends that are a little more intelligent and understand politics and stuff. It's just that I'm up on this level up here, and all my friends are down here. Me, nah. You guys, nah. Maybe a little more down in here. Screw you guys, I'm going home.
I smoke, I drink, I do my thing. These bitches hating, so you know I got to make it plain. Don't do cocaine, but your chick, my main. We stick together, true forever, yeah, you know we bang. I miss those days, which was easy. If only I made it, keep this shit on repeat. Now that I done upgraded, I've been upstate, and y'all think I'm playing. And I got a hit now for these weak assholes who think I ain't slaying. Try me, and I'll probably end up laughing, cause I never back down. I'm that chick with a clean ass whip, I don't need that shit, it's like I'm my own now. I get hurt, I get tired of fussing, fighting, guess I gotta crack down. Don't mess with me, cause on everything I'ma have to bring the whole city out.
WHOOBAZOO, that's whobazoo.com.
Enter website, enter website, enter website, enter website.